Welcome. We are your hosts, Chris and Tammy.
In this podcast, we dive into the mindset for networking strategies and skills you'll need to build a solid foundation to build a global business.
We've built a multi-million-dollar business and have mentored thousands of people around the globe in the last 25 years. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. And Tammy and I have a really important topic, which is what we call the foundation, the roots of it all.
So tonight's session, we're going to talk about goals. And we want to talk about the three types of goals. Number one is your long-term goals, which is the big vision of what you want to achieve financially. Number two is our short-term goals, which is basically the roadmap. Okay. And then number three, we're going to talk about the activity goals, which is our daily action. So what's important to know is we all have a choice. We all have a choice. We all have a plan. We're all in creation mode, and we get to decide every single day what our day is going to look like to move forward.
Yeah, I'd like to give a practical example because I know some folks, everybody has some goals, but a lot of time what happens is people think small. And I'm going to say people, I'm talking about myself. The playing field is so big and so large, and we tend to condition ourselves based on our upbringing, where we come from, what we've seen, what we've learned, what we've heard, what we've been told. And we created that fence around our environment of what is possible and what is not. It doesn't matter how far-fetched, how ridiculous, and how moon-reaching what you want may be. If you focus your thoughts around what you want and not what you can't have, it is amazing how life around you tend to manifest. And I'm not talking about witchcraft here. I'm talking about legitimate stuff that happens in the people you meet, the decisions you make that are in line with what you choose to do. So when Tammy talks to you about your creation, this is not a joke. And most people look at that as a joke. But I'm here to testify that what you think about will expand. If you think you can, if you think you can't, if you think it's difficult, if you think it's not difficult, at the end of the day, that's the direction that you will end up owning. So be very mindful and even careful of what you choose to settle with, because this is what you are ordering from the universe catalog, if you understand my meaning.
All righty. So in the creation of your vision, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on where you're at in already creating it. Going back to number two, the roadmap. Where are you right now in knowing the roadmap for your short-term goals? And then rate yourself on that. And then number three is your activity goals, which is the steps that you're doing to achieve what is laid out for that roadmap. Okay. And so that's all about creation. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you in your creation process on all of these categories? So it's important to rate ourselves because it gives us a target on where we're at. We need to know where we have our strengths and where we need to work on in our skills, our plan, whatever it is that we're doing. We need to do this on a daily basis. And we always talk about that, the importance of plan, do, review. And you can easily delegate a lot of this stuff when you lay all this stuff out and you realize I don't really need to be doing this right now because my goal is this. If I take time to do this when somebody else can do it, you'll learn easily when you start planning and putting this all out that there's so many things that you can actually delegate that's taking away your time to get there quicker to that long-term goal.
Tammy, I want to add to this because you hit a really home run on this one. It's amazing how many people we work with that have no time. And when you start doing an inventory of what they do, and you understand what their goals and desires are, 80% of what they do has nothing to do with what they truly desire in life. So they spend 80% of their time being so busy, so they cannot do what they need to do to achieve their goals. So this is something that you all have to also look at, is you may want to do an inventory on what you do and what you choose to accept to do that will, excuse me the expression, suck your time dry, that has absolutely nothing to do with the direction of your goals of where you want to be in life. So be very clear and specific on where do I want to be after all these years in my life in working. So again, it's just food for thought, as Tammy was sharing. Very, very important to have ultimate clarity on what you want and focus on the things that are in line with what you want. And you may have to let go of the things that are taking your time away from what you want.
Yeah, so it's a good habit to have to do this plan, do, review on all 3 segments at the end of every month. So without vision, people perish. That's why this is so critical to work on that. A goal without a plan, as they always say, is just a wish. So think about that. Have you ever created a goal that you never really worked towards? We all have. I know in my past too. I mean, Chris told you his story. We all have stories of where we didn't follow through in certain parts of our lives. Then it became a wish and a hope that something will change. But at the end of the day, change comes within. And you have to make that decision. We all have to make that decision every single day. You know, we were not born, none of us were born to be average. None of us were put on this planet to be average. Every single one of us were put here to be something, to do something, to make an impact in the world. Every single one of us. You just got to find from within what it is that's going to get you to move towards it.
Yeah, you know, your voice is so important. And people do not value their voices in thinking that they don't really matter. Folks, you matter. It's because you have an amazing voice with a powerful conviction on what is going on.
I wanted everybody to take a clean sheet of paper. And I want you to write down what I will be earning. You put the income, a yearly income. If you want to put a monthly income, a yearly income, it's up to you. This is so important. Again, you know, we're giving you all the nuggets that Chris and I have done because we've learned how to do a lot of this stuff many years ago. We've been in the industry for a long time. And we would keep that in front of us. Wherever we were, it was in front of us. And we knew we were going to achieve it. And then I want you to sign it. And then I want you to send it to your sponsor, whoever you're working directly with, that's going to keep you accountable, number one, but also cheer you on, inspire you, motivate you when you have those days where you just want to quit. Because let's face it, we all have days where we think it's not worth it. Chris and I have had those days many times, so we understand those moments. And then you just wake up the next day, you've got all your big goals in front of you, you just get over that emotional moment and you just keep going. Okay, so that's why you need somebody to lean on. So don't ever try to do this alone. So fill that in and send it to somebody.
And be generous, folks. Don't think small. This is the biggest challenge we see, is you constantly limit yourselves. I do the same thing. That's why I know you're doing it. It's just the environment, right, that we were brought up into. One of the things that's very important is you need to build strength around your own vision. And this is what we're trying to do here with you. This is critical. We're living in certain times. Everybody's on shaky ground or feel that they're in shaky grounds. But despite that, there's others that are making money. So what's happening here is always remember what we have to offer against what we are dealing with that provide a tangible service to society. So a point that's important is ask yourself, how many people are you going to help? Another question is, how many lives are you going to touch? Focus on how many lives that you want to impact. How much value are you going to bring to the world? These are important questions that you want to ask yourself and answer them for yourself. And again, remember what I said at the beginning, what you focus on expands. Be careful what you ask from the universe catalog, I'm telling you, because that's what you're going to get.
Example of that, Chris, how many times have all of you thought about somebody and they just call you or they text you to see what you're up to? How many times has that happened to you? All the time. It happens, right? So that's why it's important that we constantly put things out that we desire in life, not what we don't want to have in life. If you put out, I don't want to be broke like this, if you put out all negative stuff, guess what? You're going to get more of it. So always be careful with that. So let's move on to number 2, Chris, which is the short-term goals.
Yeah.
And that is your roadmap.
Stay the course. Follow Tammy and I's guidelines. Stay the course. Don't follow the naysayers or people who choose to quit, because they'll end up where they've always been. We're showing you what to do to go where you want to be.
The roadmap. Mm-hmm.
So that's the key. As we come to an end, we're talking about your long-term goals and work on that. This is critical. We talked about the short-term goals and the steps that you need to accomplish for you to be able to get to the income that you want to reach. And then the last point is the activity goals, the things that you do on a daily basis. And remember that when you are, I just want to finish on this note, Tammy, is when you're designing your goals in your life, there's the physical, there's the spiritual, there's the financial, there's, the career, there's your family. These are all things that matter, that are important for you to keep in mind. So it all starts with your dreams, and don't be limiting. just whatever you think about, multiply by 4 and then some. And you might be surprised on the outcome of based on what you choose to focus on. So thank you so much, everybody, for attending the call. And we look forward to grow with you. And we're here to serve you guys. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening.